Well, this week, a much-loved Aussie kids book, Magic Beach, comes to cinemas with a unique movie adaptation of the story. It's the work of director Robert Connolly and a team of talented animators. Let's take a look.
At our beach, at our magic beach, we swim in the sparkling sea. Surfing and splashing and jumping the waves. Shrieking and laughing with glee.
It was then that something unusual began to occur.
The film opens in cinemas on Thursday, and joining us now is director Robert Connolly and creator of the Magic Beach story author Alison Lester. Thank you for being in the studio with us today.
Lovely to be here, thank you.
An absolute classic, and that movie is looking absolutely beautiful, by the way. So how did this collaboration come about?
We met over 10 years ago. I actually went down to the Magic Beach with my daughter, who was 10 at the time, to meet Alison to talk about whether we could make a film. And we had this crazy adventure. We went to this beach and we got caught in a kind of tidal shift in this little cave. And we went,
organised.
Oh, it was very... And we went out with Bigsy the dog, people who know Alison's book, The Real Bigsy the Dog. And it was transformative. And I guess as a father, and I'd made other children's films like Paper Planes and Blueback, I wanted to make a film for little kids, and why not use Australia's greatest book for young kids?
Thank you.
A classic. Celebrating the 35th anniversary
I wrote
this year?
it 35 years ago.
Incredible. How does it feel to have your book still being so beloved, you know, by Australians, I'm sure across the world as well?
It's incredible, yeah. I mean, when I thought it, you know, you always think a book might last 5 years or so, but for it still to be going is incredible, and then for it to be made into a beautiful film is something else again.
There's something so special about this movie and the way it's been put together. It's so unusual. Tell us why you decided to go down this path of exploring imagination in this way.
Yeah, I think the book inspired me. I grew up in the bush, the Blue Mountains outside of Sydney, and I was always interested in the power of the natural world to inspire creativity. And so I invited 10 different animators to take one of the little kids and the dog and create their own animation from it, in a way to let young people watch the film and see how their own imagination could make them part of the story themselves and not fill in all the blanks for the little kids.
Alison, how do you feel seeing it on the big screen? It must... I mean, I guess it was a lot. There's so much nostalgia and so much connection that so many people have with this book. How do you think that's going to translate when they see it on the screen?
I think, well, I love it, and I think they will love it too. Like it's very beautiful and magical and gentle.
Yes, there's not many a very good word for it. Yeah, gentle.
Yeah, you can't. There's not many movies you can take tiny kids to without them being a little bit, you know, worried at some stage. And it is a beautiful movie for little kids, but also for adults. Like, I think anyone who is in touch with their inner child still will really love it as well.
Absolutely. I normally host Behind the News, Kids News, so I can appreciate that sentiment as well. We love, you know, creating content for both kids and adults, which this really seems to be. I'm also about to have my own child, so it's going to definitely, thank you, it's going to definitely join my kids' book collection. Have you had much, you know, feedback from audiences yet, or is this really just going to be all this week you're going to get all the feedback and see how it goes?
Well, we've been having screenings for kids. There was a wonderful screening at the Astor as part of the Melbourne Film Festival. 1,000 children and their parents. It was madness.
It was insane.
And it was fun. I asked at all the Q&As how many kids are seeing a film for the first time. And we had a screening the other day. There were over 100 kids who'd never been in a cinema before. Wow. And I think this summer it's the only G-rated film. It's a film for little kids. And that's kind of exciting for me. I kind of often ask the adults in the audience to remember what was the first film they ever saw in the cinema, and can they make Magic Beach the first film for their kids? I mean, I saw Fantasia when I was 4, and I've never watched it again because I don't want to damage that memory of it. Because I love remembering, you know, the excitement.
Mine was Jurassic Park, so
there you go.
a little more intense. Yeah, I think my mum had her hand over my face for most of it.
Very appropriate.
Very appropriate. Yeah. How did it go working with the different animators? Because you've used a lot of different animators. How did you work out who would do which segment and how that would all come together?
Oh, so much fun. I mean, these are some of Australia's greatest animators. Some have been Academy Award nominated and emerging, you know, a young animator like Kathy Sarpi early in her career, and Look, it was important to us that we had diverse voices. Like, we wanted to tell the story of the experience that young people have. So we really spent a lot of time picking the 10 and a lot of fun. You can imagine what it was like in the office when these animations kept coming in and we were watching them. I mean, one of the animators made an animation out of watermelon. Stop motion out of watermelon. I mean, her whole theory was, what's a fruit that all kids like?
That is very true.
Get to eat it afterwards? I don't want to put all that watermelon to waste.
She said the house just stunk of watermelon for weeks. But no, it was an imaginative journey to invite these 10 different creative people. And I think one of the things I loved about the book is that each of the little kids have their own moment of imagination. And I didn't want to limit it. I wanted each of the animators to have a bit of flexibility and freedom. And so kids go to the cinema and they see live action and different styles. And
it's very unique. I can't think of another movie like it, like just the way you've constructed it and used all those different elements and given the animators the freedom to do their own thing. Like, it's very collaborative.
yeah.
Alison, what do you hope that people will get out of the movie?
I think that thing of just that the natural world is such a beautiful place, especially for children, and that once you get into that, it's your imagination that can take you anywhere.
Do you think that's lost on adults sometimes, imagination?
I think some adults don't have much imagination. Mine's a little bit too big.
Just big enough, clearly. A beautiful, beautiful book. So, and a fantastic movie as well,
Thank
of
you
course.
so much.
Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations.
too.
Yeah, I'll be definitely adding it to the bookshelf and heading to the cinema.